I'm Ben Snyder. I'm a sales enablement and training at WingtraRAY. We're going to be flying the WingtraRAY, which is our latest platform with the MAP 61 payload. It's the latest WingtraRAY model. It's replacing our outgoing WingtraRAY 1 Gen 2. So it comes with some added safety features, redundancies, and payloads, such as the parachute, and it will have active collision avoidance as well. What we're going to do to get started here is let's get into the unboxing of the equipment. Let's show up on site. First thing I like to kind of do is to be able to pull up our mission plan again in WingtraRAY Cloud. That way, now that we've arrived on site, we can kind of have a better understanding of the lay of the land, maybe see and capture some things we didn't see while we were in the office for our planning. First thing I always like to do is when we come in, be able to take a look around, kind of edit our flight location if we need to, just to make sure everything is good as far as our situational awarenesses go. There's no other ground-based obstructions. I see that we have a few towers here in the background, which we were aware of when we were doing our pre-planning in the office, so I don't really foresee that being a problem. But taking a quick look around, I think everything looks good here. Happy with the flight plan still. In this case, I'd like to save or lock the mission again, go ahead and save it. And then when we save it, this is going to take us to our flight setup. So if we're ready to do that, we can begin this. And this is going to take us to where our first couple of checklists are. If we were running our WingtraRAY ground workflow for our data correction, then we could get started in that workflow with the base setup and then go ahead and adding and shooting in our checkpoints. For what we're going to be doing here today, we'll just stick with the drone flight itself. So at this point, what I like to do is go in and we can get the drone set up here and go from there.
What's your best practice?
Yep.
Best way of doing it?
Yeah, absolutely. I always like to start by putting in the fin first. And then from here, you can grab right inside of the motor mounts. And then just doing, putting it on its tail for now. And we can go ahead and grab our batteries. So yeah, please. Yep, so the batteries just go in one way, push them a little bit, and then lock it. Now one of the nice things as well, when we move it to our takeoff location, we can either again grab here by the motor mounts or also right there. Yeah, so for here, we will get our telemetry module connected. And we're going to go to our drone flight. We are going to our drone flight here for the pre-flight checklist. This checklist is a combination of some things that the automated system checks that it's preparing, as well as there are a few manual checks that we have to manually tick off as well. So the first thing that we would have to do then is go back in, do a quick visual inspection of the drone, make sure the propellers are firmly attached, which they are, and one of the most important things, if any drone pilot knows, is remove our lens cap. Although, in this particular drone as well, if we were to leave our lens cap on, it would kick us an alert like, hey, go ahead and take that off. If you want this data, you might want to take that off. So now we can take it over to our takeoff location, which is right around kind of where we are. We might need to move it slightly, which is perfectly fine, and it will automatically update on the flight plan. And although the wind has died down a little bit, best practice here is we always want to set it up parallel to the wind, with the idea of skinny side into the wind so that the wind doesn't catch it and it doesn't move it from the takeoff. It doesn't vary very much. With it in its proper position, go ahead and press the power button, hold it for approximately 2 seconds till we have our startup chime. The nose cover there, I'll give this to you. This again is held on by rare earth magnets, so it really only fits in one direction. There you go, yeah. Next thing here, we're gonna press this. This is another manual check that we have to engage. Yes, we call this the WingtraRAY wiggle, where we're just testing the flaps to make sure everything is good to go with the aircraft. Yep, next thing that it's gonna ask us is that we all kind of give it 5 meters of space. And again, kind of general best practice. Always try to stay upwind, of course. And when we are 5 meters good to go, now we're just verifying that we're checking weather conditions, everything's safe to fly, we're good. Yep, so.
It does have audible alerts?
Yeah, with With the Gen 2, we have that, and that's being worked on as well. So yes, it will tell you when it's in transition mode. It's like, as a best practice, you always want to plan to your terrain first, right? So if it were a more challenging or hilly environment, we'd want to make sure that we're flying perpendicular with that, flying parallel with the terrain, flying perpendicular into it. And then next, when terrain is a non-issue, definitely be able to plan for the wind, trying to avoid flying directly into a headwind or with a tailwind, because you want the consistency of the speed of the aircraft to collect its data. All right, cool. The honors are to you.
All right.
So when you're ready. Yep.
All right, spinning props.
Yep.
Oh, I heard the beep. Beep, 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 beep.
And right now, as it's orienting itself, it's going up to our transition altitude, which we had set at 164 feet. Right now, when it transition, it is going up into a few loiter circles to get up to our operating altitude, from which point we are going to start with our first flight line.
And it has a little optical or LiDAR on the tail, sort of LiDAR landing?
A distance finder, Yep, correct. It'll get us within about 7 feet of our takeoff location, maybe a little drift there depending on the wind. If you wanted to pause the aircraft right now, you could do so. Go for it.
With loiter?
Yep, hit it up. So again, if we were to pause the aircraft right now, it's going to put us into our loiter circle. And if you wanted to, you could drop it down.
And that's just a 33, one tap 33.
Yep, so say if we did have a bird, encroaching aircraft, see, look at that.
Just went up 33 feet with one tap. Oh yeah, scared him away.
So yeah.
My airspace.
When we get it back over to our landing zone, we can we'll pause it in hover mode again. So it's gonna come back just as it took off. And if it's windy up there, you might see it transition so its back is into the wind. It actually looks like it must be pretty calm up there.
It'll orient itself.
Correct.
The wind.
I'd go ahead and pause it now. Now you have your left stick, right stick functionality. It's a little bit slow. It's not as snappy as a quad per se. When you're happy with it, you can either have it land in place and give the control back to the system, or let's say if your landing zone has cleared and you wanted to bring it back to the original landing zone, you could just hit the return to home function. Just raise it up a bit, and then that's good. Sometimes if you have it too low and if it's really struggling against the wind and the wind all of a sudden dies, it could lose it a little bit.
Okay. It indicated that it was coming home on a direct path, and we don't have RTK or anything, so I'm gonna let it do what it does. I don't think we can damage anything with that little spike. That's nice. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna catch that little vertical stabilizer a little bit, but it did a little kind of blip at the end. Yeah. And you have replacement little tail foam.
Yep. There is a replacement bumper on the tail fin. Again, there really aren't too many parts that necessarily need to come off the drone. Everything kind of fits in the case as is, with the exception of the the fin, and the nose cover that pops off, but otherwise.
Does it power itself off?
No. So, but we did get our indication saying that the data has been collected and we are good to go
tiny little mission there.
So we are done with our first one.
Very cool.